So you've got the global participation completely amiss. I think Monday would be the litmus test when we would really realize as to how the markets would absorb the budget impact. I want to also talk about the insurance stocks. That you've got a flavor of the banking names. They've clearly closed in the red. Insurance stocks, Nikunj, and they would definitely sentimentally be hard hit. I mean, there's reason why most of these stocks plummeted after the budget announcement.
You know, it's for the longest time I've been tracking the entire income tax and the provisioning schemes. There has never been a rule where you can actually take exemptions or you do not take exemptions. That choice, I think, is a great choice for a taxpayer. But that choice now will perhaps force you not to do that compulsive buying in insurance. Earlier, how was insurance sold? You get benefit on, that's the bank Nifty for you. Let's look at some insurance stocks here. That's the closing bell. Yeah, so that's the limited point. I mean, insurance no longer be this compulsive vehicle where you want to save or where you want to do purchases. What will be the impact of that, especially given that we are in the year end? Feb and March is when the maximum purchases would happen. So insurance companies surely will really feel the heat of things going forward.
Yeah, nothing came out for the real estate sector as well, and I just want to mark how some of these realty names, the sought after names like a DLF, etc., as well panned out in trade today because they as well fell down to the day's low. So DLF will just come up for you on your screens. That was down. Oberoi Realty took a knock of about almost 5%. There you go, DLF. What a sharp crack. A 12% downtick is what you saw on DLF, which was some, which ran up pretty hard ahead of the budget in anticipation that something for the real estate sector is really going to come about. So largely you would have to say real estate, banks, it's been a rough day for them.
It's been a rough day. I just hope that this is not the turn of trouble, but if you just put two and two together, we may have come on the right side of the budget. Sunil will agree with me, Sandeep Sabharwal will not agree with me, but in my book the event risk is behind us. It's, the difference between last budget and this budget is the whole attitude. There is concern about what's happening in the country rather than making this, sharing of this vision statement that we are headed towards 5 trillion. I did not hear the finance minister use the word trillion at all in the speech this time, unlike last time. So for me, that's a change where you're taking growth for granted rather than realization you can do whatever you can do.
Yeah.
So that's a change in terms of an attitude.
Absolutely. In my book. DDT gets abolished, so I just want to quickly mark what TCS, Infosys, Vedanta, Coal India as well did in trade today because they also are sensitive to that. Look at TCS, that held up by about 4.25%. I'm guessing similar would be the move on in Infosys as well. Not as much for Coal India. Because there are other parameters and compulsions for that. But all in all, you'd have to say it's a rough day for the markets. There are reasons that you can choose that maybe we were aligning to the coronavirus threat and the contagion effect that it may have along with the global markets. But yeah, that's the truth. Sub the 12,000 mark, that's how we've shut shop for the day. But I'll hand it over to the studio. I believe we have